Hey, good evening. It's in the midnight hour. It's not midnight. But I tell you what, let me see here. How about I move this? All right. Good evening and welcome to In the Midnight Hour. It's not midnight, at least not in Oklahoma. But again, it's been a long, powerful week. And I tell you what, I'm praying whatever time is available. And so God bless you all. Share with your friends. Tell them we're going live in the midnight hour. Go ahead and post your prayer requests. Good morning. Good morning. Hello, everyone who is tuning in and getting online. I tell you what, I don't know about you, but this has been a very busy, pressing, stretching, powerful week. And tonight we had Back to the Basics, or B2B, Bible study at the Congregation of the Mighty. And one of our members, the dean of our university, one of our deans, she kind of went off on a tangent a little bit about really, in essence, finishing what you start or doing what you came to do. And it really set me on a pathway of thinking just about life and how, as you can see the title here, there's always a reason to quit. There's always a reason to not finish what you start. There's always a reason, whether, whether it's money or family being in disagreement, or something totally breaks down, or let us not forget the spirit of offense, which is probably the most cunning, conniving way that I have seen so many people get out of their place in God, is that the spirit of offense settles in and it creates this whole entire argument for why you need to quit whatever you're doing. It could be going to school. It could be finishing that degree. How many people have gone and they have one semester, 2 semesters left to do whatever they need to finish, and it's like they quit because offense, a teacher offended them, a student offended them, something happened. And so that spirit of offense is very clever because it builds a case to undo what God told you to do. And it gives you the out, it gives you the exit, it gives you the reason. And then what happens is you can easily be 10 years down the line and realize you still have this huge unfulfilled word on your life. So I just want to challenge you tonight and encourage you that finish what you start. Go the distance in what you have vowed to do, what God told you to do. Maybe it's not something He told you to do, but it's something that you promised that you would do. Maybe you made a promise to somebody else. I'll give you a ride every week to church, or something very basic and simple to you that might be a really big deal to someone else or to the Lord. There's always a reason to quit. I want you to study in your word finishing. Just study finishing. Those who have to finish, enduring to the end. There's a reason those things are in scripture. Okay? There's a reason that the word tells us to endure to the end. He that endures to the end, finishing what you start, making a vow and keeping your vow. That's in there over and over. Old Testament, New Testament. It doesn't even matter, whichever side of the law you stand on and believe in your heart. There is something about finishing, honoring your word, keeping your promises. I can't even tell you how many times people have broken their promises to me in life. And I'm sure that everybody has a story. Okay, so my story is not unique to stories in the world, but everybody has a story about broken promises. And when you break your promise to someone else for whatever reason, to you it might be a really good reason, but there's devastation on the other side of that brokenness. There's disappointment, there's setback, there's frustration, there's a mistrust, people not wanting to move forward and trust in God for the future because of somebody breaking their promise in their past. And so I want to encourage you tonight. I want to challenge you. I want to say very sternly, grow up in some areas. Sometimes you just need to grow up. Stop being a big baby. Stop allowing little things to just totally derail. I mean, for some of us, it doesn't take anything for your week to be derailed. Your attitude is off. You think you saw somebody look at you a certain way. You think they said something a certain way. You have no proof. You have no whatever. Imagination is going on overkill, just overdrive. And the next thing you know, you're off on the side. You're having a terrible week. You can't think straight. You can't sleep. Every time you think about this person, your imagination is running wild, and then you're making decisions and you realize you are making all these decisions based on one side of the story, which is your side. And so many of us do need to grow up. We need to put childish things behind us, and we need to mature and to say, you know what? I'm done with that. I'm done with that response. I'm done with allowing that to control me. Nobody can make you feel anyway. They just make me so mad. No, you choose to be mad when they say what they say. They just always offend me. You choose to be offended. Some people have said some horrible things to me over the years, as I'm sure they have to you. And I'm like, what? Huh? Now, depending on who it is, affects how it impacts me, because the closer you are to somebody, the harder the hit. But other people, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to leave that right there with you. And you have to mature your emotions and put up your guards and your walls, and in the healthy way, and just allow God to do what he needs to do in you. But you must keep your word. I remember Dr. Price saying, and she still says it, I think she recently said it on a show or a Sunday service or something she was speaking on, about how the only reason she has stuck with this whole journey is because she made a promise to the Lord. She said, I told God I would do this, and I'm doing it. And I thought, yeah, years ago, I thought, oh, that's the ticket. It's not money. It's not all these things. Over the years, people thought we were seduced by prophecy. Are you kidding me right now? That it was this, and you were just brainwashed, and all of the accusations over the years that people used to say. They don't say that anymore, but they used to say it. And I was like, first of all, you're crazy and off. But secondly, I made a promise to the Lord, and I'm going to do it. And I tell you what, there's a reason that the word talks about swearing to your hurt, going to bloodshed to strive against sin. I mean, there's a reason there are things that we don't preach anymore that are rarely taught still in that word. And the Lord is holding us accountable. And so I just want to challenge you. I want to encourage you. I want to edify you. I want to admonish you. Whatever you need. Some of you need encouragement. Yes, you can do it. Others need the smack in the back of the head. Stop it and decide to move forward. Don't look back. Remember Lot's wife. Lot's wife could not accept that her life was being destroyed by the Lord. Now, it was perversion, it was destruction, it was vile, it was disgusting, but she loved it. And so they were not going to leave. When you go back and read the account of Lot with Sodom and Gomorrah, the angels pretty much had to pick him up and carry him and get him out, because the word of the Lord cannot return void. And they're like, we are not going to be judged because you won't leave. And that's some of us today. We're in a land of destruction. We are in circumstances that just bust our lives down, maintaining friendships and relationships with people who have never been good for you from day one. Some people are about to marry somebody who isn't good for you, but you'd rather be married to somebody who is not the best person for you than to be single and be alone. We have people who are buying things that they can't afford and all kinds of things in that Sodom and Gomorrah. What is your Sodom and Gomorrah? What is that thing that is destructive? It is terrible. It might be what you're meditating on, something that you're just constantly thinking about. You don't even have to be doing something, but as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And so maybe it's something you're thinking about all the time that is your own personal prison. Your Sodom and Gomorrah, God is coming after it. He's telling you, I've judged it. And you're like, no, 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 Lord, no, Lord. And so, you're like Lot's wife. He's about to rain down on that thing, and they're trying to pull you to safety. And God, there are some people he's relocated. Others he's trying to get to relocate, and not just to Tulsa, but somewhere else, maybe from one city to the next. Sometimes it's just one town over. Others, it's something radically different altogether, and you don't want to do it. You want God to fix it so you can still stay in that messy place and not receive the judgment for it. And I know I'm kind of talking longer tonight, it feels like, than most nights, because you know what? Tonight you need to hear the wisdom. I'll pray however the Lord leads, but sometimes you just need to hear the wisdom of what God is saying. There's always a reason to quit. It doesn't matter what it is. You could be a Christian, not be a Christian. You can believe in God, not believe in God, can't stand the church, but love the Lord, whatever. There's always a reason to quit. And I hear the Lord saying, keep pressing, endure to the end. Don't grow weary in well doing. Again, all the scriptures that tell us keep going, keep going, keep going, meaning there's going to be a reason you want to quit. Oh, I've come to the end of my strength. That when I am weak, that's when he is strong. Okay. And so it doesn't matter what excuse we give. There is always a passage to stand on that's like, oh, Lord, I have nothing. Well, let's come on and pull this valley of dry bones together. Let's breathe life back into this army. Let's regroup. Let's reboot. Let's go into prayer, fasting, whatever the case may be. But don't quit. And for some, unless it's something that you do need to quit, because if it's something that you have no business doing, then walk away. Let that thing go. You might have to break covenant, break ties, break whatever, and keep it moving forward into the purpose and destiny that God has for you. I'm speaking some apostolic wisdom here tonight, because that's really what we need to get through. You can get locked into your own world, locked into your own rationale, locked into your own reasoning, and then don't partner with one other person who believes it with you. Then it's over. Y'all having church together. You're talking in the back room, two or more gathered together, not in God's name, although you think it's in the name of the Lord. And you've built a whole case for why you are or are not going to do something anymore, and whatever. And it's what Dr. Price calls that mirror conversation. In the mirror, you're playing both sides of the conversation. I'm going to say this, and they're going to say that, and I'm going to say this, and God's going to do that. And then you jump out there on it, and that is not how it goes at all. That's not how any of this works. Okay. And Monday is my birthday. I'll be 42 years old, 42 on the 24th. I think that's kind of cool. And I've learned a lot of wisdom in 42 years, especially I would say in the last 5 years. So much wisdom has crystallized in my soul. I wouldn't trade it for anything. I wouldn't trade this warfare for anything in the world, because I tell you what, it's made me who I am today. And I want to encourage you, and I want to challenge you, and I keep saying it, and I want to exhort you to thank God for the warfare, because it's the warfare that makes you a warrior. We want to be champions and be warriors. I'm a warrior. Yes, I'm a intercessor. I'm a this, I'm a that, I'm a whatever. But we don't want to go through the war to become the champion warrior. And you can't have one. You can have warfare. You don't have to become a warrior. You can just be beaten down on the side of the road. But we want to have that warrior status and that warrior clout, but not go through the wars. And I'm here to tell you tonight that go through the battle. Thank God for the warfare. Thank him for the opposition. Be thankful in it. At the very least, be thankful and grateful in it, because in it is where you learn your strength, but it's where you learn God's strength. It's where you find him. When you study those Psalms, and David's talking about he's on the battlefield and the Lord is at his right hand, and it is the Lord who taught his hands to war and to make war. That's a tremendous statement that we just kind of skip over. Maybe throw it in the song. It's just so cool and so awesome and amazing. And yeah, wow. But we really don't take it to heart. So I want to tell you tonight, take it to heart that when you are in a battle, you're supposed to learn something. Maybe it's a skill. Maybe your warfare is to teach you how to make money when there's none to be around. It's called ex nihilo. We learned about that years ago, and still means creating something out of nothing. Ex nihilo. That's God. That's what he did. And we are fearfully and wonderfully made. We're made in his image. And we only want to tap into that when it's time to cash in on the blessings, but not necessarily to go to battle to make something happen. So you have got to dig in. We're talking about Jesus multiplying fishes and loaves. That's some ex nihilo miraculous power. I mean, I can't keep my food from spoiling if I just leave it out overnight. And this man is pumping out all this food to feed thousands upon thousands of people. So we have a long ways to go before we walk in that Jesus status. I mean, we talk about greater works. I'm trying to do the basic works that the Lord did. Okay. But going through the battles is where you learn how to fight. It's where you learn your enemy. You go through battles, and then guess what? The next time you're not blindsided the way you were before because you recognize something is coming. You're like, oh, no, no, I know this. Nope, I know that. It's like when you know somebody really well and they have a certain tone in their voice, you're like, I know that tone. I know what that means. So embrace the challenge, embrace the battles, embrace where God has you, because the more you run from it, the more you fight it, the longer you stay there, and the more you repeat it. And so don't blame God. Don't blame people. Don't blame the devil. Just get busy. Get to business. What do I need to learn in this? Because a lot of times, a lot of things are our fault and we don't want to accept it. We want to blame other people. We want to blame the devil. We want to blame our friends. We want to blame our pastor. We want to blame our spouse. But in the end, it was us, a decision we made or a decision we didn't make, something we should have done, something we didn't do, and on and on and on it goes. It really does. But embrace the challenge. Be honest. Humble yourself and repent before the Lord. Humble yourself in the sight of the Lord, and he will lift you up. Humble yourself in his sight, and he will lift you up. A lot of us don't want to be humble. Don't tell me that I'm not. Don't tell me that I haven't. Who are you to say? Well, I know what God told me. God calls me prophet. God calls me apostle. God calls me this. That's great. You and your prayer closet with God can just get down. But out here, the systems of this world that he established, you have to go through the ranks. And so we do a lot of blame shifting and a lot of displacing and a lot of things in our lives, not taking responsibility, which leads to my next point. Take ownership. Take responsibility for your success in Jesus Christ, your success on your job, your success in your life, your success in your business, in your family, in your marriage. You take responsibility for your role in it, and not looking at so-and-so to fill in the gap, this person, that person. It's not their responsibility. It's yours to do your part. So I want to encourage you tonight to mature. Let's grow up in 2021. It is so easy to blame the boss and blame the world. And my God, racism right now, the whole racial card. Well, I'm not getting ahead in my job because I'm Black and they don't like me. Is that true? Are you on time? Are you actually doing the job? Are you showing up looking like you're ready to get the job done? Are you late? Are you coming late? Are you leaving early? What is your record of service going to say? So this is like the blame shifting era, if like we have never seen before. Don't buy into that. Don't buy into the lie. Don't allow yourself to be deceived into thinking that it's all of these external things. Now, warfare is real. There's no mistake about that. I have been in warfare. My God, you can be barraged on all sides. It can hold you back. It can set you back. It can tear you down. Warfare can destroy what you built up. I mean, you're like, how many times do I have to do that? But when I look at our lives right now in ministry, and I see how many times we've had to rebuild, if at any point we quit, we wouldn't be here today. Many of you would not be here with us. I would not be on this broadcast if we had quit 10 years ago, when everything under the sun said, that's a wrap. In fact, we shut down the church. We did shut down the church, really. We brought that thing down. It was like 15 people. We looked around and nothing else but a pile of dust. And Dr. Price said, nobody wants me to be their pastor. I'm not going to do it. I'm done. I'm just going to travel. I'm going to write because that's what I'm good at. That's what people want from me. And that's kind of what we did. We went to sleep for about 6 years, four years. I think it was 4 years. And then it's about 6 or 7 years ago, things started coming back online slowly. But had we stopped at any point, like literally stopped and stayed stopped, we would not be here today. We would not be in the embassy. We wouldn't have some of these books. We wouldn't have this amazing congregation of the mighty. We wouldn't have TPTI and the summit and everything else that's going on. Like I said, we wouldn't be having In the Midnight Hour. We'd all be asleep. Come on now. At whatever time. There will be no apostle of the future. You have to think about what will not be in existence should you quit. Those prophecies God gave you, the things he told you in prayer that he didn't tell anybody else, the things that he did tell you in public. Oh, yeah. So quitting is like a really devious trick of the enemy, because he knows better than anybody what's waiting on the other side of your obedience. What's waiting on the other side of your fulfillment? What's waiting on the other side of your graduation? What is waiting on the other side of you marrying the right person at the right time? What is on the other side of your obedience? That's what he's waiting. That's what he doesn't want you to see. He doesn't want you to think past today's battles. He doesn't want you to think past today's losses. Maybe your car got repossessed. Maybe you got evicted out of your home. I've been evicted. It does not feel good. My cars have not been repossessed, but bless God, sometimes I was hardly able to pay for them. And so we've all paid a price. And some of us are not willing to pay that price. We're good until our money gets funny. And then all of a sudden, that's not good. That's not God. We're good until we take a hit in our body and then we quit. We're good until the job acts up. We're good until family. And we have conditional obedience. We have conditional follow through. We have conditional. And so we want the unconditional blessings of God. We don't even believe it ourselves. We really don't. Very conditional. Your face can't be right if you're going through. Everybody has to know you're having a hard day. Everybody, your hair is all wild and crazy. I mean, you can't even brush it and pull it back together or put some on. If you wear hair, come on now, how we do hair. Wear hair, hook it in like I do, whatever. And you wear it here. You can't pull yourself together. And it's just like everybody has to know, I'm just really going through. I'm just really going through. Let me tell you what. You better mount up with wings as eagles, run and not grow weary, walk and not faint. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. That's my word of encouragement. You can do it. But guess what? You have to do it. In order to do it, you have to do it. You actually have to put yourself out there and you have to keep pressing. Some of you have been trying to hammer through a particular breakthrough for 30 or 40 years. Do not quit unless God is like, the opportunity is gone. Let it go. If not, keep doing it. Some of you, I will say this in my closing thoughts. Stop running your mouth. Shut up. Stop talking. This right here, I challenge you all to study the book of James, where it talks about the tongue. He talks about being double-minded and unstable in all of your ways. He really does break it down. Study the book of James, because some of you, this thing right here is what gets you into trouble all the time. And let me give you a little inside tip from a apostle, former prophet. Going off in your house where nobody else is around is still not good, because the invisible agents of God are collecting those words. They're registering those words. What you say in secret is not a secret to God. Apostle Ashley, I don't know if I believe that. How do you know? Let's look at the book of Daniel. Nebuchadnezzar, he was standing there by himself, puffing himself up on, look at all I've done. Look at what I've gotten. And it says that the watchers, who are the watchers? We don't hear about watchers again. I don't know if we hear about watchers again in scripture. The watchers sent that word up to the Lord about what he was saying, about who he was. In other words, I'm God. Look at what I've done. And the next thing we know, Nebuchadnezzar is eating grass like an animal for a long time. What, 7 years? A long time. So I will tell you, I will admonish you, I will encourage you, I will challenge you again. Shut your mouth. Hear and hear. Murmuring, grumbling, complaining. You need to go study Israel, what God did to them for their murmuring. Murmur. You should study murmur. If you're a medicine, you know what a heart murmur is, but mumbling and murmuring and complaining and fussing and fuming. He judges that. He judges it. You'll bind up your whole life. You'll bind up your money. You'll bind up your job. You'll bind up your favor every time you turn around. When I look at people's lives that are chronically failing, I have to ask, what are you saying? What are you doing? Even when we went through our warfare, like we were breaking through in books, breaking through in assessments, breaking through in other things. There was particular things that always took a hit, but there were other things that didn't. And so, but when I'm looking at people's lives just being snarled up, it's like, what are you doing in your private time that is authorizing Satan to put you on lockdown? Book of Daniel also talks about the angel tells him, I came because of your words. I heard you when you prayed it, but he was in warfare. Daniel was in warfare. The angel was in warfare, and you had the clashing of the powers. But he said, but I came according to your words. Spirits come according to your words. That's why those who are always confessing the right things, life tends to work for them, even if they're going through. They'll end up on their feet. They'll break through. Somebody will bless them, move a little something their way, send them some money, whatever. And you're like, how is so-and-so always blessed? And I'm not, because of that murmuring, that griping, that complaining. I guess tonight was just to really be a prophetic moment to you, because I can always pray, but sometimes you need that word of wisdom, that word of knowledge, not just prophecy, but those words to really steer you and guide you and encourage you in shifting out of your stuck place into what God has called you to do and who he has called you to be. You want to sow a seed, you can sow a seed, because somebody's always going to ask. That's the information. But I'm telling you right now that some of you are in a window of time to fix it with the Lord before that ark door closes once and for all. And when the flood starts coming, where are you going to be in your salvation with the Lord? What has he told you to do? How many people did God tell in 2018 and in 2019 to start a business? Start your own business, start your own business, start your own business. Didn't do it, didn't do it, didn't do it. What happened? 2020 hit the planet like a vengeance. Now, those of us who are enlightened, we know this fear tactic virus is real. What they're propagating is not. The whole propaganda machine, the fear factor, all that kind of stuff is not. Businesses shut down, people losing their jobs, can't leave your house, depending on what state you're in. Some states are just starting to open. I'm like, I can't even imagine being in a city or a state that has been shut down for a year. We've been open for a year. Excuse me. And so how many people did he say? Start that business, start that business, start that business. Oh, I don't have the money. I don't have the time. I don't have whatever. And then crying through a whole year because your livelihood might be in jeopardy, and you could have avoided it by following the word of the Lord. So was it God that was unfaithful, or was it you? I lost so many things last year. Maybe you did. Was God unfaithful? Do you have an unfulfilled obedience? How many? Some people, it was just basic. Go to church all the time. Sow and tithe. He was telling people, tithe this, give that, sow a seed there. Maybe it's not money. Maybe it's your time. Maybe it's maybe some other possessions or something. I don't know, that he had been telling you and you didn't do it. So he knows that obedience is better than sacrifice. Obedience better than sacrifice. Woo! Man, let me tell you something. I'm working on my cosmetics company and just getting the next phase launched out. And let me tell you something. I'm just going to put this out there because somebody asked me, what's my prayer request? If God has placed it on your heart to invest financially into that, that is what I need to go to the next step. I need to order the cosmetics I have found that I want to use. And, you know, it takes money and you have to buy in bulk, and you can't just buy 10 of this or whatever. It has to be 100 of this and 100 of that and whatnot. I'm rolling out my blushes, and what else am I rolling out? My eyeshadows. I'm trying to think. Whole lot of things happening, mineral based, because I have serious allergies. I'm hoping I can wear my own makeup every day. All right. And so I'm finding the mineral based ones, which are more costly than the little cheap ones. And so if God has laid that on your heart, go ahead and sow that seed and invest, because I'm in a window of obedience as well. Prophet Angela gave me a word today. Listen, you need to push to make this happen by a certain time. And she's a friend of mine. And so when you have friends who sit in these offices, it's easy to dismiss what they're saying as encouragement or recommendation. And I said to her, I hear you as a prophet. I hear your prophet's mantle speaking, and I'm not sleeping on this. And so I have my LLC, got my EIN, all legalized, setting up bank account, all that kind of stuff is happening, all above board. And now, because you can't get the products and the merchandise until you're set up as an entity, you just can't start doing those things. And so if God has laid it on your heart to do that, go ahead and do that. There's the giving information. You know, I don't really ask for money, but you have not because you ask not. And so here I am. I do not want to miss this window of opportunity with the Lord. I don't want to miss it. There's an inheritance for me in this. There's a blessing in this for you and for other people. And so I just want to thank you all. Oh, bless God. Thank you all for tuning in and for your support in this. Yes, Ashley C Cosmetics is going to the next level, but it's not free. Also coming up, I don't have a sign for this promo for it. Again, chasing my own life, but I am doing a webinar live in our Embassy Cafe and online called Fix Your Face. And it's going to be about skincare, makeup application. We're going to talk about the importance of taking care of your face even before you put all the makeup on, or a little bit of makeup, depending on what you wear, or no makeup if you don't wear any. But it's about fix your face. And so it's going to be $25, and you can watch online. You can register and watch online. So many people have asked me about my skincare routine, makeup, and how I do what I do. And we just kind of fell into it quite by accident. I want to thank Profit in Training businesswoman Sade Banks for that. And so again, so Ashley C Cosmetics is actually going to be the platform I stand on to do that because, well, I have a cosmetics line. And so anyway, so many things coming together. But all of that to say, you have to push. You have to push. You have to push. I have been, I got this word 10 years ago about my cosmetics line. And it's taken this long for me to even believe in myself enough to do it. And that's just the honest truth. Sometimes you just don't even believe in yourself. You're like, wow, that's an amazing word. I just don't see that for me. I see it for someone else. Why would people buy products like that for me? And on and on. Nobody is exempt from doubting in themselves, including ministers, including people who are online all the time, who are standing in front of people. So thank you for your support. Thank you in that area. If God leads you to do it, so big. Okay. So big. And if you can't, so small. And I will take it and bless it. I pray over your seeds all the time as they come in. When you see, especially if it's Cash App, I can do the little emoji. Just know if I'm sending that, I'm also praying as I'm sending a blessing on your seed. Like I said, Monday is my birthday. I'll be 42. Life makes so much more sense in your 40s. I'm telling you, my mother was right. She was right. She was right. I embrace every year, and I hope you do too. But take the words to heart from tonight that there's always a reason to quit. Always. Right on down to not believing in yourself. But in the end, don't we want to hear, well done, my good and faithful servant? And that can be in the big things, the little things, because when the passage talking about, I never knew you. Well, Lord, when did we do this? And when did we do that? And he's talking about feeding the hungry and all these other little things that we would consider small that nobody else sees. That's what he considers to really count the most. And so God bless you all. Excuse me. Allergies. I'm telling you, it has been a fight this week. Had a sore throat, just crazy, but pressing through. We're not quitting, are we? I'm not quitting. You're not quitting. And there are so many things to not quit at this point. So God bless you all. Thank you for your faithfulness to In the Midnight Hour. Thank you for your faithfulness to this ministry overall, the whole Dr. Paula Price world, okay? It's a big world. We count it a blessing and an honor to really serve you in this capacity and to know that there are so many people that you can be tuning into, and there might be a lot of people that you do tune into, but I thank you for tuning in here on my Facebook or YouTube or Periscope, wherever you're watching from. I want to thank you for your loyalty, your faithfulness, and even in sharing this broadcast. I want to encourage you to share this broadcast tonight because you never know who needs to hear this wisdom. You don't know who's on the brink of quitting, or maybe you do know somebody who's on the brink of quitting and you're trying to talk to them, but they just can't hear you. Sometimes voices can be just too familiar and you need the voice of a stranger to say what people close to you have been saying the whole time. Excuse me. Sometimes it is just that simple. So share, 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 tag people, share even in their messenger. I don't like to just necessarily put things on people's pages unless I have permission, but share through messenger and say, hey, check this out. We were talking about this the other day. Here's a word of encouragement, words of wisdom, words of counsel. All right. God bless you all. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you next week in the midnight hour or whatever hour on Friday.